So last night we sat with our neighbors who had this little solo stove, and they were making s'mores, and they had some color changing marshmallows that never actually changed colors, but they were still fun.
The thing that we did find out from this couple was we need to do a trip to Antarctica.
Yeah,
They had some of the best photos of penguins jumping in the water, and it was amazing.
it was, and they were so excited about it. You could tell they loved the trip. It was great.
And then we came on up the road from our last campsite, moving down the road a travel day, and we went to this lighthouse. And this
Yeah,
is on the way up to the lighthouse,
Cape Blanco Lighthouse in somewhere in Oregon.
somewhere in Oregon, between
But
Brookings and Coos Bay.
no, Brookings,
Brookings.
actually between Gold Bay and
So there, we got there and it was really foggy. We couldn't see anything, and we got up all the way to the lighthouse, and you couldn't go in the lighthouse. It was actually closed and needed repairs. And they showed pictures of what needed to be done. But we did get some pictures from the outside of the lighthouse. These are actually Jen's pictures.
yeah. This shows how foggy it was.
And sure enough, after we left, 30 minutes down the road, we see sunshine. And that at one point was the furthest west part of the United States.
Yes,
And at that time, it was, if you notice this flag is 39 stars.
yes,
So
37.
37, and that was before we added the other zone, then Alaska became the most western state of the United States.
Yep.
Again, that's the lighthouse. We could have trudged through about 8 inches of grass, and their sign said stay on the mowed grass. We didn't see anything mowed.
Yeah. And again, this shows you how foggy it was. There's a coast there.
There's a coast. I promise you, there's a coast there.
It was it was crazy fog. We were actually a little surprised.
We did stop at the campground they had just earlier into this lighthouse and drive through it. They had a real nice campground, state campground.
Yep. Cape Blanco State Park, I think.
Yep. What was that building? That was a building that with the information center right there.
No. That's where I was showing where the cell tower was.
Yep. On the right, you can see a cell tower, and you see a little white building. The lighthouse is that far from us to it, across from it.
Yep.
It's all these beautiful flowers. What are
Irises.
they? Irises.
Bearded irises.
Took some pictures of those with the dew. The dew was just fog. It was heavy fog. Everything was wet.
Yep. It was pretty cool looking though.
Yep. There's that coast that we said was there from the other pictures.
Yeah, the fog had started to lift just a little bit.
I'm take that back. That's on the opposite side of that hill. That's
The,
on the fault line. There's actually a fault line that goes right down in that little valley right there.
right, but the fog had started to lift a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they told us that the Oregon coast was a little more dramatic, but goodness, didn't have to go do all that.
Apparently, the sunshine and the heat blocks the fog from going on in. Got behind a logging truck again,
Yes.
and they do a lot of logging up here. I saw some areas that were clear cut logging. They did have spots beyond it that they had set trees out. They looked like they were like 6 or 8 foot apart, and it was a thick forest they were putting behind it. But there was a lot of skinned land up here.
Yeah, it looked like it'd been clear cut.
And then this is a few miles before we got into Coos Bay, wasn't it?
Yes.
And this was a real interesting point. Windy, cold, 50 something degrees.
Raymond stayed in the car while I took pictures.
You did not. I took some of these pictures. And this one, I did. And I took that one right there, as a matter of fact. Had the bridge in it.
Yep, that's true.
And but there's a lot of people there bird watching.
Mm-hmm.
And right here's one of the birds that everybody was looking for.
Puffin.
A puffin.
Yeah, there were. I think the time of year is wrong for puffins, but this was a art installation, so it was kind of cute.
Yep. And then that had a natural arch in that rock that we saw, and probably could have low tide been able to get down and go through it, but
Maybe.
if it got low enough. And then this is our campground. That's the office. Here's the beach, one of the beaches. The beach goes all the way around, half of it. And then there's the ocean, coming into it. And this is actually Coos Bay Campground, right? What's the name of the campground?
Bay Point Landing.
Bay Point Landing in Coos Bay.
Yep.
This is what we call glamping on a camping trip. Notice ocean out there. Notice the saltwater pool. Notice our camper right outside this door. Yeah, it's a shame, but we have to be here for like 4 nights. I don't know. I think we can survive. And then this is back at our camper, our little picnic table. Jen standing there as I walk from our camper, 40 steps, 30 steps.
Yeah, pretty short.
And get right on out to the ocean.
I mean, we have a little private beach.
Yep, we can go out if we want to. And we may check into that. Today was cold. They said tomorrow is supposed to be a lot different, less wind. Apparently there hadn't been wind until we got in town.
Yep.
Then it picked up. So I think we're bringing it with us.
Following us.
There you go.
There's our little campsite.
If you enjoyed our video, please select the subscribe and the like button below.